What's happening, Raven fans? Welcome to my Baltimore Ravens podcast titled Ravens World. Needless to say, I will be probably some of the hottest breaking news and giving you insight like no other can. Who am I? Well, let's just say I'm the new Jizzock on the Blizzard, the one and only one, Raven Rudolph. Yeah, check this out. Today's topic. We'll be talking about the most dynamic player in NFL history. That's right, I said in NFL history. Not just the most dynamic quarterback, but the most dynamic player ever. Now, I know you haters don't agree, for those of you that just don't know any better. And there's a lot of you out there like that. Just don't know any better. Y'all stay tuned. Now, when you see it, they say seeing is believing, then you will believe it. Unless, of course, you're one of those people that continue to be a stranger to the truth. Don't be a stranger to the truth. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the one and only one, Demetrius. Yeah, y'all don't know who Demetrius is, do you? Demetrius Jackson. Yeah, I'm talking about Demetrius Jackson. Y'all might know him as LAMAR, but not many of you know him as Demetrius. LAMAR Demetrius Jackson Jr. Yeah, homeboy's a junior, believe it or not. He is a junior. But just for a quick bio, I'm going to run down some things for you tonight or today regarding LAMAR. Of course, he was born to Felicia Jones and Lamar Jackson Sr. on January 7, 1997. Now, of course, you know, Lamar, like a lot of the great athletes, grew up in the hood. He grew up in the hood of Pompano Beach, Florida. Homeboy, what's up? Yeah, native Floridian. Now, Jackson's, his father died from a heart attack on the same day his grandmother died in 2005. Now, when Lamar was when Lamar was 8 years old, he and his siblings were basically raised by his mother. They were raised by mom, and a lot of us can relate to that. A lot of us, maybe too many of us. Listen, all you football fans out there, in particular you males, don't be a deadbeat dad, all right? But unfortunately, a lot of the kids from our neighborhoods, they were raised by their mother. Okay, young men need a man in their life, not a fool. Now, when Lamar was 8 years old, they say he could throw a football 20 yards when he was 8 years old. Hell, I didn't even know what a football was when I was 8 years old. But anyway, in high school, Jackson threw a football 100 yards. Can you believe that? He threw a football the length of a football field. Now, you tell me that's not an arm. And, the knock on him today is he don't have an arm. Well, you know what that is. That's a bunch of BS. And he's going to prove the doubters and the haters and the naysayers even more wrong this year, because he got some stuff to throw to. He's stacked. Now, Jackson was a standout quarterback, actually, at Boynton Beach High School in Boynton Beach, Florida. Again, big shout outs to the homeboy. He also connected to his high school track team. Now, there's a reason he can run. Lamar even ran. He even was on the track team, basically. Okay. Now, with that being said, he visited. Before going to college, Lamar visited, several schools actually. Really, there were 4 schools that primarily caught his initial interest. That was Louisville, Florida, Nebraska, believe it or not, and Mississippi State. Those are the 4 schools that initially caught his attention. But with that being said, Lamar actually, after the period he was going to sign with Florida, uh, Jackson ultimately committed to the University of Louisville. Yes, he did. He actually committed to the University of Louisville. And the primary reason behind it was because Coach Bobby Petrino, some of you might know the name, actually promised Jackson, not just Jackson, but Jackson and his mother. His mother was dead set on making sure he come into college as a quarterback. So was Lamar. So Bobby Petrino actually promised Jackson's mother that her son would be playing quarterback and nothing else. Okay. Now, as a freshman at Louisville in 2015, Jackson played in 12 games as a freshman, and he made 8 starts in the Cardinals' 8-5 season. Now, Petrino, where he won, actually he won the Heisman Trophy during his sophomore year. He actually won the Heisman Trophy during his sophomore year. Okay, and Lamar also was named the MVP during his sophomore year for the 2015 Music City Bowl. Okay, after he was passed for 227 yards with 2 touchdowns and rushed for a Music City Bowl record. And believe me, Lamar put up a lot of records during his time. A lot of them, I will go over a few of those for you, but a lot of them people don't even know about. And he continued to put up records. You know what I'm saying? And actually, he, as he moved on into the 2016 season, while he was at Louisville, obviously he and his mom, there she is. That was the catalyst behind what he did, and his determination, and how he stayed put. He stayed set on what he wanted to do as a professional. Okay. Now Lamar was actually selected by the Ravens. He was selected by the Ravens as the final first round pick of the 2018 draft. Jackson became the Ravens' starting quarterback in his rookie season. He became the starting quarterback in the rookie season after an injury to Joe Flacco. I don't know if many of you remember Joe Flacco. Your boy, Skip Bayless loved to call him Joe Fluco. But Skip never had nothing good to say about anybody for the most part. That's why Shannon jetted up out of there. Shannon couldn't take no more of that mess. But anyway, Lamar took over for Joe Flacco, who actually was injured, where he then led the Ravens to a division title. Keep in mind, this as a rookie now, okay? This is as a rookie. Now, he also became the youngest NFL quarterback to start a playoff game. I say the youngest, at the age of 21. Now, the next year, he set the single season record for quarterback rushing yards, and he led the league in touchdowns. Okay, he set the single season record in rushing yards, and he led the league in touchdowns. Isn't that what it's all about in this NFL? TDs, touchdowns, not field goals, but touchdowns. Okay, now while leading the Ravens to their conference top seed for his success, he became the second, take that in mind now, keep that in mind, at 21 years old, he became the second unanimous MVP. The second out of all the MVPs in the NFL that came through the pipeline. The second one to be named as an MVP. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, okay? Now, Jackson, along with Patrick Mahomes, Cam Newton, my boy Cam, who I thought got a short. I think Cam got a bad deal overall. They just didn't like Cam's flamboyance, but Cam was a bad boy in my opinion. And of course, for the late great Steve McNair. For those of you that remember Steve McNair, they are the one. Well, let's put it. Jackson is one of the four. One of the four. Those guys: Patrick Mahomes, Cam Newton, Steve McNair, Lamar the fourth. African American quarterback to win the AP MVP award. One of the four. Only four. And remember, he was the second to win the MVP unanimously out of all players. But anyway, he then followed up his MVP campaign by becoming the first quarterback to have multiple seasons, not one or two, but multiple seasons, rushing yards while leading the Ravens to their third consecutive playoff appearance. Okay. Now, in 2023, he then signed a 5-year contract worth $260 million. That's right, $260 million, making him the highest paid player in the NFL at the time of the signing. Now, that's not to mention he did this with his mom as an agent. And if you were watching the news, unless you was on a rock on the moon, proving all the haters and naysayers wrong. They just knew him and his mom were not going to get the deal done the way it should have. Surprise, surprise. He became the highest paid player. Okay. Jackson was also selected as the 2016 Heisman Trophy winner over fellow finalists. Now, you might know a couple of these names here. We had Deshaun Watson. That's my boy, Deshaun. I'm still riding with you, bro. I'm still riding with you. Of course, he had Jabril Peppers. And he had also, one of the candidates was Dede Westbrook. And, of course, the Baker Mayfield. We know about Baker Mayfield. He was more of an all-star for making commercials than he was a football player. But anyway, those were the four finalists as Heisman Trophy winners when Lamar actually won it. He became Louisville's first Heisman Trophy winner in school history. And he was the youngest ever recipient of the award at the ripe old age of 19 years and 337 days. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? Well, you need to check this out. There were many haters back then who doubted Jackson's quarterback abilities and suggested that he should switch positions. Can you believe that? How many black quarterbacks that would they try to tag in that particular situation as a receiver rather than be a quarterback? For a long time, the brothers had to switch position, either receiver, safety, DB, but they wouldn't be allowed to show their talents as a quarterback. Now they've become the template for quarterbacks. You want to win in this league now? Ask Jalen Hurts, ask Patrick Mahomes, ask Lamar. You got to be mobile, as they say. And so the brothers are moving forward in that regards. Now, his intention to play quarterback, Jackson stays. He was steadfast with that. He had no intention of ever becoming a receiver. Matter of fact, during the drills, football drills, he declined to run drills such as a 40-yard dash during the NFL scouting combines. The combines where they go out and try to show their other athletic abilities. Lamar said, heck with that. Even though he ran track, remember he ran track in high school. Now he reportedly clocked. This is reported. He reportedly clocked in a 4.34 40. 40-yard dash. I don't mean 40 yard. I don't mean a 40 ounce. He clocked in a 4.34 40-yard dash time in 2017 at Louisville, which would have been the fastest time in NFL history for a quarterback. Fastest. Mike Vick, Randy Cunningham, them boys can move. But that would have been the fastest. Lamar would have been the fastest. Now, he was drafted by the Ravens. Actually, he went as a first rounder with the 32nd overall pick in the draft. Now, he was a fifth quarterback selected that year. Four of the guys went before him. Yep, four of the guys actually went before him. And he was the fifth quarterback taken, as I mentioned. And in 7 regular season games in which Jackson started, the Ravens went 6-1. And they closed out the 2013 season on a 6-1 record. Now, taking the field the day before his 22nd birthday, taking the field the day before his 22nd birthday, Jackson became the youngest, again, the youngest. Keep that in mind for all you haters out there and naysayers. The youngest quarterback to start an NFL wild card playoff game. His credentials is just off the chart. I'm saying, I don't know how you haters out there and naysayers out there can see the light. Boy, look at you. But if you this year, you don't see the light. I understand. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be one of the first ones to tell you, that light ain't going to be a bus. It's going to be a train. Okay? It's going to be a train called the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson, and they're coming straight at you. And, boy, anybody get in the way, they're going to get railroaded. That's what I call it. Anyway, I might sound like a true man crush on Lamar, but listen, I am so excited. I am so excited. And all the Raven fans out there, you got it. You feeling the excitement. And for those of you that haven't gotten on the wagon yet, get on it. Get on it now before you lose too much of your money. And if you don't feel like that's going to be the case, holler at me. I will take some of your money because they are going to the Super Bowl. They ain't going to win it. Okay, now in the season opener last year, 2019, against, one of my favorite teams, almost one of my favorite teams to hate, the Miami Dolphins. Jackson went 17 for 20 for career highs on 324 yards and 5 touchdowns. 5 touchdowns, not 1, not 2, not 3, but 5 touchdowns, okay? Making him the youngest quarterback. Again, that key word, the youngest. You hear that. You're going to hear me say that quite a bit. The youngest. The youngest. Brett Favre, Peyton Manning, you name it. Peyton Manning, Brett Favre, Drew Brees, even Patrick Mahomes. Jalen Hurts doing his thing. But again, Lamar, was the youngest quarterback to achieve a perfect. Now, a lot of times you say there's no such thing as perfect, but the NFL had its certain standards, and he actually achieved a perfect passer rating. Now, as they beat the heck out of the Miami Dolphins, 59-10 road victory. Now, Jackson became the first player in NFL history to pass for more than 280 yards and rush for 120 yards in the game. Again, another first. I mean, you can write off a list of how many firsts this man has actually done. A young man, should I say? Okay. Now, Jackson also became the first player in NFL history, again, first, to pass for more than 200 yards and rush for 150 yards in a regular season game. Now, in the next game, the Ravens routed. I mean, they beat them down. They beat the Bengals down, who's right now probably their number one rivalry in that division. But they beat them down 49-13 with Jackson again throwing for 223 yards and had 3 touchdowns. And he rushed for 65 yards and had a touchdown, finishing again with a perfect passer rating. Okay, a perfect passer rating. He became only the second player in NFL history to produce 2, not 1, but 2 perfect passer ratings in the NFL season. Jackson joined Aaron Rodgers. Of course, you guys know who he is. and Joe Montana. Have you heard of that guy before? Well, he joined them as the only players in the Super Bowl era. Now, when they say Super Bowl era, since they started counting the Super Bowls, he joined them as the only player, obviously the youngest, with 15 plus completions. He had three plus passing touchdowns, one plus rushing touchdown, and he had a perfect passer rating in a single game. Perfect passer rating once again, and they say he can't throw. They say he can't throw the football. Okay, y'all keep on sleeping on that if you want to. Now, Jackson became the first quarterback in NFL history with 100 rushing games. First player surpassing Mike Vick. And we all know how dynamic Mike Vick was. Mike Vick was my boy. He was my boy until his homeboy sold him out about the dog thing. And boy, look here. They went after him like he, robbed the First National Bank or something. But anyway, that's what you get, man. Sometimes, boy, look here. We are one of the worst enemies in that scenario. But anyway, this ain't about Vic at this point. Jackson became the first quarterback, like I said, in NFL history with 100 rushing yard games. Now, in a season, in week 14, let's go back to week 14 a little bit. Jackson actually rushed for 1,000 yards in a single season. In week 14 against the Buffalo Bills, 24-17 victory over the Bills. Jackson became, again, the first quarterback since Mike Vick to rush for 1,000 yards in a single season. And again, like I say, Mike Vick obviously was an icon when he did his thing, and until his situation turned sour on him. Now, even without playing in the Ravens' final game, Jackson led all quarterbacks with, again, for somebody who couldn't throw. Remember, he can't throw the ball. He's not accurate. He cannot read the defenses. Yeah, okay. Jackson led all quarterbacks with 36 touchdown passes and a QBR, which is a scale or rating that the NFL like to use to rate the quarterback's performance. Well, in that time, he had a QBR of 81.10 out of 100. He also led all rushers with a 6.9 yards per carry average. He was throwing that rock and running it. Watch him this year. Now, during 2019, he was also first, once again, during the 2019 season, when he was also the first to rush for 43 total touchdowns and a 9.0 passing touchdown percentage. Okay. So he was rushing first with 43 rushing touchdowns, and he had 9 and a rating of 9.0 for his touchdown passing percentage was concerned. Okay. Now, Jackson was the starting quarterback at the 2020 Pro Bowl, which was held right here in his home state, Orlando. He, again, in that game, he threw for 180 yards and 2 touchdowns with 1 interception. And, of course, he was named the offensive most valuable player. He became the youngest quarterback in NFL history to sign or to start a Pro Bowl game. Again, that word youngest, he put so much on that word youngest that it's hard to believe. Okay? It's hard to believe. It really is. He became only the second player after the beloved Tom Brady in 2010 to be voted unanimously, and the second youngest player to win, behind only Jim Brown. Now, for the young bucks out there, you don't remember Jim Brown, but Jim Brown, when he was introduced in the NFL, there was no other like him. There was no other like Jim Brown. Probably never ever will be. Okay, but Jackson, he was voted unanimously as the second youngest player to win that award behind Jim Brown. And as I mentioned earlier, Jackson also, along with Patrick Mahomes, Cam Newton, Steve McNair, were the only African American black quarterbacks that were able to win an MVP award. The only ones. Okay. Now, in the Ravens' week 4, in a 31-17 victory over the Washington football team at the time, Jackson threw for 193 yards and 2 touchdowns and rushed for 52 yards and 1 touchdown, making him, again, the fastest player in NFL history to reach 5,000 yards passing and rushing. Actually, he reached 2,000 yards rushing during that time. Okay. I mean, how much can you say about this man and what he's done? It's incredible. It really is. It's incredible. In 2022 season, Jackson turned down a contract extension due to his belief that he could improve and earn more. I mean, you ask me, he had already proven that. He had already proven that. He had already proven that. And so, with that being said, Jackson said, you know what? I led the league in quarterback rating in 2022 at the beginning of the season. He led the league in quarterback rating at a 119%, or 119 rating, and passing touchdowns. He had 10. Now, in addition to that, Jackson ran for 2 touchdowns. His 12 combined touchdowns were the most. Keep it in mind, they were the most touchdowns scored by 30 teams in the league at the time. To that point of the season, in other words, he scored more touchdowns than 30 teams in the league at that point in the season. By himself, outscored 30 teams. Put that in your soup and sip on it. Okay? So the accolades that he had, as a matter of fact, I don't think he's got enough of his accolades. I don't think he got enough. Let's talk a little bit about his 2023 season. Coming into that contract year. Now, on March the 7th, 2023, the Ravens placed. Let me have a little sip here of my Aaron. What was his name? Alexis Aguirre. Y'all don't remember him. Anyway, he was a boxer. He wanted some of that special mix. You know what I'm saying? He was getting his butt beat by Sugar Ray, but he wanted some of that special mix. But anyway, the Ravens placed the non-exclusive franchise tag on Jackson, which allowed him, quote unquote, to be able to not be able to go out and seek a trade because teams were afraid to try to match that the Ravens were going to match him. And the Ravens were playing a cat and mouse game, actually. They were playing a cat and mouse game with him. 20 days later, Jackson raised them, actually, as if he was playing poker. He raised them, him and his mom. He raised them one in a negotiation poker match and stated publicly via his personal Twitter account that he had requested a trade on March the 2nd. Saying that the Ravens front office has not been interested in meeting my value, quote unquote. And boy, look at this. So far, I mean, I'm not making any of this stuff up. His value has been proven time and time again on the field. Okay? Time and time again. Now, of course, that's like I said, in my opinion, the Ravens were just trying to play cat and mouse with him, but I think they had no intention to let this cat get away because they know, and everybody in football knew, if he got away from him, somebody else was going to be in for a big uplift to their team if he got away. But the Ravens was just playing cat and mouse, and they weren't going to let Jackson get out of there. Now, the stalemate actually ended on April 27, 2023, when Jackson signed a 5-year contract worth $280 million excuse me, 260 mil, with 185 million of that being guaranteed. Okay, 185 million of that was guaranteed money. That was money. The brother signed that contract and making him the highest paid player at the time in NFL history. Yeah, highest player. Okay. Now, with that being said, the deal also included a $72.5 million signing bonus. 5 mil signing bonus also was included in that. Okay. Now, that surpassed Dak Prescott. Boy, I know. I know. Don't get me. Listen. I used to be on that wagon with Dak, but I mean, I'm telling you, boy. Look here. If he don't come through this year for the Cowboys, I think Jerry Jones gonna trade him because homeboy just didn't cut it. He just didn't cut it when it counted. He could not cut it when it counted. Dak, boy, look here. If you listen, if you don't get these Cowboys into the NFC Championship Series, I got your jersey. I used to root for you, and I still kind of got some hope for you. But listen, your rope is at the end, as far as I'm concerned. Your rope is at the end, bro. If you don't come through, if you don't perform this year, if you don't get them Cowboys, because they loaded, Cowboys are loaded. That defense is a stellar defense. But I'm telling you, boy, if you don't play up to that championship caliber, you might find yourself on the trade blocks next year. I know Jerry didn't want to pay you all that money, but anyway, this ain't about you anyway. But anyway, so anyway, that money, that bonus signing bonus, he surpassed Dak Prescott with that, and a 21-20 deal for the biggest signing bonus in NFL history. Okay. Now keep in mind, he got that bonus, he got that raise and that upfront money. But at that time, Deshaun Watson still had the biggest contract in NFL history because he got more guaranteed money. He got more guaranteed money. But either way, Jackson did his thing. He got his money, him and his mom. Everybody, all the haters and naysayers, they just knew he needed to have an agent in order to do what he did. The brother showed him and his mom showed him, we don't need no agent. We already know our value. We already know the market. Why we need an agent to pay him all that extra money to get what we got? You think an agent could have got anything better than the highest paid contract in NFL history at the time? What more could the agent have got him? Anyway, I'm going to take a quick look here at some of the awards and highlights that LAMAR actually accomplished, and let's look back. Let's kind of look back a little bit on his college days when he was at Louisville. Again, he won the Heisman Trophy in 2016. He also won the Maxwell Award, which is a very prestigious award in college. He won the Associated Press Player of the Year in 2016. This is all while he was in college. I mean, his statistics, man, are unreal. I mean, his statistics are unreal. You can line them up. Okay. He also won Sporting News Player of the Year for 2016. He was the unanimous, again, there's that word again, unanimous All-American in 2016. And of course, the two-time ACC Player of the Year award at that point. Now, and the ACC Athlete of the Year. Now, as he moved forward into the NFL, as I mentioned to you, it didn't stop there. He became NFL Most Valuable Player in 2019. He was an 8-time AFC Offensive Player of the Week. He was an AFC Offensive Player of the Year. That carried forward for the AFC Offensive Player of the Year. Okay. He also was the NFL Top 100 rankings. The NFL, the players, coaches, in particular, I believe the players make the voting and reporters. They vote on who they think is the top 100 players in the NFL. And guess where he ranked? Number 1 in 2020. He ranked number 1 in 2020. Okay. As far as NFL records, I ran off a few. I shouted out a few records that he actually put down going forward. Okay. Lamar was the first quarterback, as I mentioned earlier, with multiple 1,000-yard rushing season. First. He got so many firsts and so many youngest and so many unanimous. I mean, it was just a no-brainer that he was needed to get paid. He needed to get paid. Now, he was the first player. Again, there's another first with 3,000 passing yards for somebody who couldn't throw the ball. He had first with 3,000 passing yards and 1,000 rushing yards in a season. That's in 2019. Okay, in 2019. He also became the most perfect passer rating in a season. He had the most passer, most perfect, should I say? And you know how that goes. They say nothing is perfect. But guess what? For somebody who can't throw that rock, most perfect passer rating in a season, tied with Big Ben. Now I don't know how Big Ben got in there, but anyway, to me, I don't know. I ain't gonna get to talking about Big Ben to me because he wasn't. He was not, in my opinion, all that. He really wasn't. He was overrated, in my opinion. But that's just my opinion, okay? And I know what some of you say. It's just like my opinion is just like an asshole. We all know some stink more than others, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, he had the most wins by a quarterback under the age of 25 at 35 wins. He had the most wins by a quarterback under the age of 25. So, once again, we look at some of the greats. Tom Brady, uh, uh, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, all the names they like to throw out there. Aaron Rodgers, and again, and even in the modern day time, Patrick Mahomes, he had the most wins by a quarterback under the age of 25. He just barely able to get in the club without being carded. Anyway, he was the youngest quarterback to ever start a playoff game in 21 years. The youngest QB to ever start a playoff game in 21 years. Can you imagine that? The youngest. I tell you, man, it's crazy what Lamar was able to do. It really is, and he held it down. Lamar held it down, and he did his thing, and he continued to do this thing. And for all you haters out there, you better get ready because Lamar finna go ballistic on. He finna go ballistic on y'all this year. Now he kind of joked a little bit about in a press conference that he want to throw for 6,000 yards. People laughed at him like he was crazy. You know what? Shoot, y'all better recognize. I believe he can do it. I believe he can do it, and I think he will do it. Yeah, to everyone's surprise, I think he's gonna jump on that. Them receivers he's got. Listen, I'm telling you, boy, you better get on that wagon now. You better get on it now. Again, he's the man. He's the next generation Madden, actually live Madden figure. The guy's trying to change the game. He already kind of changed it, but he's finna take this thing to a whole new level for those of you that don't know or don't think he can. Get on the wagon now. Get on that wagon. Yeah, get on that Raven wagon. Raven Rooter. Yeah, you better get on the wagon because I ain't gonna let you get on it when they start blowing people up. When they start running through people like X-Lax or castor oil. For you young bucks out there, y'all don't know what that is. Y'all might know what X-Lax is, but you damn sure don't know what castor oil is. And for the old heads, boy, when mama or grandma broke out that castor oil, boy, you knew it was problems. You knew what the time it was. You wanted to run and hide. But anyway, he's the youngest quarterback to achieve a perfect passer rating, as I mentioned before, at 22 years old. Again, the youngest. And I mean, you got some greats out there. You can name them. Name all of them. But he was the youngest. And he still got game to go. Now, he had the highest completion percentage in a game when attempting more than 40 passes. Now, again, this is the part that irks me. about all these naysayers and haters. He can't throw the football. He's not accurate. He can't read defenses. Okay, he should have been a receiver. Man, y'all better miss me with that. You better miss me with that crap. That's what it is. This man had the highest completion percentage in a game when attempting, keep in mind, attempting more than 40 passes. Think about that for a second. How many times the Ravens threw the ball? 20 times last year. They were known to be a running team. While the other quarterbacks out there throwing the ball 40, 50 times. When attempting more than 40 passes, he had the highest completion percentage for somebody that can't throw that rock. Boy, I tell you, you boys just don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. Don't fall into that trap. A lot of you have. Now, in a popular culture, Jackson, let's talk a little bit about his, his personal life a little bit in the popular culture. Now, prior to the start of 2019 season, he appeared on ABC's what they call Celebrity Family Feud. I don't know if Steve Harvey was hosting that or not, but he was on there. I didn't see it. I don't know how he handled it. I don't know what he did, how he did, but I never saw it. But apparently, he made a TV appearance there. NFL against former NFL players. That's kind of how it was set up, players going against players. And in 2019, uh, his Madden NFL character speed was upgraded to 96. Now, I don't know nothing about that Madden stuff. I ain't no Madden gamer. I'm not a gamer. So for all you gamers out there, they up the speed to 96, whatever that means. Hit me up in the comment chat section, whatever. Tell me, explain it, break it down to me how important that is. Because as far as I'm concerned, I don't know what the hell that means. But anyway, it must be good because it's on Madden, okay? Now, as a matter of fact, he was a cover athlete in Madden NFL video. Now, in 2019, listen, in 2019, the Pope, that's right, the Pope, the Pope, the Pope Francis was gifted with a signed Lamar Jackson. The Pope said, yo, let me, what I'm saying? Let me get one of those. I can see the spirituality and what this guy's doing. The Pope wanted a signed jersey. The Pope didn't know anything about football. I don't know. Maybe soccer, but not American football. Maybe he wanted a jersey. He got one. He knew what he wanted, and he got it. This took place in 2018. So the Pope got his signed jersey. I just need to get one. You know what I'm saying? I need to get one. I got one, but shoot, it ain't signed. Maybe I can get to one of those Raven games sometime this year before they hit the Super Bowl and break everybody else down. Now, in February of 2022, February of 2020, the COVID year, BET Digital, they highlighted Jackson as one of them 40 most inspiring and innovative vanguards of people in American cultural history. And who's redefining what it means to be unapologetically young, gifted, and black? This young man is really, really putting it out there, and for all the youngsters out there. And I do believe that it ain't just young black kids following him. It's a lot of young white kids that's following him as well. As you notice in the NFL, a lot more and more of those college quarterbacks coming out, they're trying to run that rock too. So they're adding to their game. All this pocket passing stuff, man, it ain't gonna work no more in the NFL. It ain't gonna work no more. That's why Brady got up out of there. Brady know he couldn't get out the way of them boys because them boys are coming. They're coming hard, okay? And they ain't taking no prisoners. So when they come too hard at Jackson, he gonna make a miss. And before you know it, you're looking at the back of his jersey and he's doing 70 yards on you. Ask the Dolphins. But anyway, as a child, Jackson's favorite player was Michael Vick. Who wasn't a big fan of Mike Vick when he coming out of college? and Jackson will tell you, Mike Vick inspired him to mold his dual threat style to his advantage as a quarterback in the NFL. The difference is Mike Vick wasn't quite as disciplined when it came to reading and studying the book, and it's not a secret. Mike Vick tell you, well, he never read the playbook. He just went out there and made plays, and so you know he got beat up a little bit. But Lamar this year, 2023, they allowed him to actually call his own plays. Can you imagine that? He's sitting back there, you know, on the NFL. He coming up on the center. He looking out there, man. Oh man, this dude's gonna be open. OBJ gonna be open. Zay Flowers. Oh man, I got Nelson Aguilar. Oh, I got Bateman. I got. Don't forget, he still got Edwards. Man, it's just gonna be a slaughter. I listen. I know I'm a little bit biased. Yeah, I'm a little bit biased, but my biasness is gonna come to reality. And when you guys see him, get on the wagon early. Get that money in on Vegas. Vegas got them situated right now as I think as a favorite down to the number 7 slot. They got 6 teams up ahead of them. Even the damn Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, can you believe that crap? But anyway, get your money now. Put that money on Jackson. Go ahead and get them by the odds are in your favor, because trust me, those odds are going to be a lot different by the time midseason roll around. So you already have your money in place. And if you don't, you know what I'm saying, you can hit me again. Hit me up in the chat. Hit me up in the comment. Look at, I'm ready to put down some ducats. I ain't got no bag like some of y'all, but I got a purse holder. I got a coin chain, one of them coin holders. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got no big bag. I got a coin holder. But anyway, go ahead and make that happen. Now, some of the business ventures, and a lot of people saying, well, you know, Jackson, what is he doing as far as business is concerned? Well, he's got a few things under his belt. Now, he was announced to, you know, it was announced that he was going to launch his sportswear line. He was going to launch his sportswear line. It's called Era Apparel, ERA8 Apparel. He was going to do that in March, and Jackson actually had to file a lawsuit against Amazon for charging the corporate giant with engaging in a deliberate and underauthorized use of Jackson's name. Here we go. Somebody trying to take advantage of him on the slide, but apparently that didn't get past him because he's got a lawsuit going on against him regarding that. Now, the suit also alleges that Amazon had unlawfully infringed on his rights for publicity in connection with an alleged false advertising and endorsement of unlicensed and infringing articles of clothing. So, you know, they're trying to get his name, image, likeness out there without throwing them dollars at him. They was trying to do that without throwing them dollars at him. But anyway, that's how it goes. But anyway, they caught up with that, and they got a lawsuit. In August of 2020, Jackson signed an endorsement deal with Oakley Incorporated, a company that produces sunglasses, sports goggles, and football helmet visors. So he's got some investments out there. One thing I can say though, you don't see him on commercials the way you see some of these other quarterbacks. That make me say, damn, what the hell's going on with that shit? You know, you got the best quarterback in the NFL, the youngest. He done set all kind of records in history, and Baker Mayfield got more commercials than him. Brett Favre had that cheese thing going up in Green Bay. Not Brett Favre, but Aaron Rodgers. What's the deal? Where these commercials are at for Lamar, the most dynamic player in history, and he's gonna continue to be the most dynamic player in history. I ain't just talking about quarterback, but I'm talking about player. Okay, but the brother ain't on these commercials, and he's not in all the let's say living room people. He's not in the living room of a whole lot of people and haters that doubt him. They're not looking at him on the screen in the living room, but they sure were looking at some of the other guys. They were all out there, especially that Baker Mayfield. I don't know, boy. Anyway, we ain't gonna go there. Now, in May 22, it was announced that Jackson had entered the restaurant business. Okay, brother, getting into the soul food with the purchase of a soul food restaurant in his home state of Florida. Pompano, and the place is called Tasty's Soul Food Sports Bar and Grill. Again, Tasty's Soul Food Sports Bar and Grill. Okay, it was in Pompano, and of course he planned on changing the name to get this play action soul food, Action Jackson, play action soul food, and more. Now, while asking a question, uh, it says here, you're gonna say you ate yet. Again, the number 8, you ate yet. The number 8. So that's kind of one of the slogans it's going to be for what he does. Okay, that's kind of one of the slogans. All right. Now, in September 22, and I'm getting ready to wrap things up here in a little bit here, but in September 2022, Jackson posted on his Twitter that he will be the cover star. Remember that? He's going to be the cover star. Of what? He's going to be the cover star of NFL's first. Again, there you go, that first thing again. The brother's always on that list for first. Okay? Always on that list for first. It's going to be the first virtual reality game. And actually, it's supposed to come out next month, actually, in 2022. The first virtual reality game? Okay, like I said before, I'm not a gamer, but somebody tell me, how significant is that for all you gamers out there? Tell me, how significant is that? Because I don't know. But he's going to be the first. Now, the NFL Pro Era is the NFL's first virtual reality game, and it's said to allow users to experience what it's like to compete as the quarterback of their favorite team. Damn, I might have to get into that. I would love to have to feel like I'm Lamar Jackson running around here shaking and baking, throwing darts, putting up points like it was a basketball game. Okay. Now, this particular game is slated to launch on September the 15th, which we're approaching about a month away, and it's going to launch on PlayStation, Virtual Reality, and MetaQuest. Now, again, don't get me to sit in here trying to tell you what that really means. All you virtual reality gamers out there, y'all know exactly what that means, okay? Y'all know exactly what that means. But with that being said, I'm gonna get ready to kind of back on out of here and stuff, and kind of let y'all digest some of these facts I dropped on you about Lamar, that if you didn't know them already. And keep in mind, this is Ravens World Podcast, and I am the one and one Raven Rooter. And yes, I will be bringing you more podcasts regarding the Ravens, because I am definitely a homer for the Ravens. All right, I'm riding with them to the end, and the end won't come until the Super Bowl when they beat up somebody. I don't know who it's gonna be, but whoever it is, they're gonna beat up somebody. Okay. Now, with that being said, again, djblongstudio.com. You see the head there. If you want to check out some more of my videos, and my podcast is going to be featured on that channel, DJ B Long Studio. And when you do drop in, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and of course hit that notification button. That way you'll know when I'm coming on here talking all this crazy talk. And it ain't just about the Ravens though. I got a sportscaster podcast we're getting ready to do here. We're going to talk about the football season. I'll bring a few guests on, and we're going to talk about what's going down in the football season and who's got what picks, and kind of the craziness that a lot of you talk. Some of my hosts, well, they'll actually get out here and spew some of their craziness as well. All right. Again, djblongstudio.com. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe. The Ravens Rail podcast will be broadcasting on there. And of course, at this point, Well, as I mentioned, what I'm going to go ahead and do now is get ready to close up on guys as we go. Okay. I like to state this is what I'm going to close out with here. I actually like to state to all you haters out there, and I know you out there, you everywhere. You know you out there as well. I like to state to all of you that you are missing out on experiencing. Okay. You are missing out on experiencing the most electric or electrifying player in the game today. Okay. You are experiencing the most electrifying player in the game today. Get on the wagon now. Get on that wagon now before it fill up. Okay. And when he crushed your team en route to winning the Super Bowl, all that money you lost won't be anybody's fault but your own. I take that back. I take that back. I take that back. You know what? I take that back. All that money you lost will be Ravens, Lamar Jackson's fault. Okay, it will be his fault. Now it's up to you. You can be blamed. You can blame it on Lamar and the Ravens as they spank asses across the league. But again, like I say, don't be that fool. Don't be that fool who will be parting with his money if you decide to bet against the Ravens. Hit me up. Hit me up. Like I said, hit me up. Hit me up on the comment section. Hit me up. Check me out. Make sure you go to my page, djblongstudio.com. Hit me with the subscription. I need a few of those. Notification as well as the like button. I'll be laying in the cut for a few of y'all. I'm going to be laying in the cut because I know you're out there. I know you're out there. I'm going to be laying in the cut, getting ready to stack my dollars because I know you're going to be still hating on the Ravens. The Ravens. This is the Raven Rooter, and I'm getting ready to shut it down until the next time. So what I want you to do, get on that telephone, tell a friend, tell them when, and tell them again and again and again. Where to find the Raven Rooter? Right here on my Ravens World podcast at djblongstudio.com. With that being said, I am out of here.